You ever try to play a new game but your brain's like, nah, let's replay that 10-year-old masterpiece instead? Yeah, same. Some games just won't let go. No matter how many years pass, they still hit like a truck full of nostalgia. So today, we're talking about 15 legendary single-player games that are still 100% worth playing in 2025. If you've played them before, congrats, you have excellent taste. If not, well, prepare to have your free time stolen. Let's go. Uncharted 2 doesn't just start, it punches you in the face. You wake up dangling off a train that's hanging off a cliff, and the game's basically like, good luck, buddy. Nathan Drake is the most unreasonably lucky person in gaming history. This man falls off so many things, gets shot at constantly, and still cracks jokes like he's hosting a late-night show. The action sequences are insane. At one point you're fighting on a moving train, then later you're in a falling building and somehow you still have time to flirt with the love interest. Nathan, my guy, maybe focus on surviving first, and the climbing. Drake is out here scaling walls with nothing but hand strength. Meanwhile, I can't even do one pull-up without regretting my life choices. This game makes you feel like a Hollywood action star, but unlike real movies, you are responsible for every dumb mistake Drake makes. And trust me, I made a lot of them. If anger had a physical form, it would be Kratos in God of War 3. This man wakes up every day and chooses violence. His to-do list is just kill a god, yell really loud, kill another god, punch something so hard it stops existing. From the very first scene, you're literally climbing Mount Olympus on the back of a giant, fighting a water horse made of dead people. If that sentence alone doesn't make you want to play, I don't know what will. The combat is just pure destruction. You get these massive blades chained to your arms, and every time you swing them, someone gets absolutely wrecked. The game also lets you rip off God's body parts and use them as weapons, which is both disgusting and incredibly satisfying. By the end, Kratos has killed so many gods that I started worrying for any surviving mythological figures like, bro, leave someone alive. Who's going to run the universe after this? Oh, you thought this was an Assassin's Creed game? Wrong. This is a pirate simulator with some assassinating on the side. And let me tell you, I have never cared less about the actual plot of an Assassin's Creed game in my life. Why? Because I was too busy raiding ships, hunting sharks, and getting into naval battles that made me feel like Jack Sparrow on steroids. Edward Kenway is hands down one of the coolest protagonists in the series. He's not some noble assassin with a higher purpose. He's just out here chasing cash and living his best pirate life. And honestly, respect. The ship combat is addictive. Sea shanties are essential. If you're not singing along, you're doing it wrong. And every time I saw a ship carrying rum, I knew I had to steal it. Priorities. Ever wanted to be Batman? Well, this game lets you be him in the most stressful way possible, locked in Arkham Asylum, surrounded by criminals who really want to punch you in the face. The combat system, absolute perfection. You just press buttons and suddenly Batman is flipping, kicking, and countering attacks like he's rehearsed it all in the mirror. The stealth sections are great too. Nothing is funnier than watching thugs freak out as you pick them off one by one from the shadows. And of course, we can't forget the Joker. Mark Hamill's voice acting is so good that I genuinely started questioning if I should just let him win. Like, sure, Gotham would suffer, but at least I'd get some top-tier entertainment. Dishonored gives you so much freedom that it's almost overwhelming. You could sneak through levels using magic powers and stealth to avoid conflict, or if you're like me, you could also immediately panic, alert every guard, and end up fighting for your life because you forgot how to crouch. You play as Corvo, a bodyguard turned supernatural assassin after getting framed for murder. Naturally, the best way to clear your name is by, murdering a lot of people, or not. You can actually play the whole game without killing anyone. I, however, have zero self-control when teleportation, rat summoning, and wind blasts are on the table. The game constantly adapts to how much chaos you cause, which is both impressive and mildly insulting. Like, yes, I could have been stealthy, but I chose to turn this mission into a mess, okay? This game starts with the worst vacation ever. You're just some guy chilling on an island having a great time until a psychotic warlord kidnaps you and suddenly, boom, you're leading a one-man revolution. I don't know about you, but if I got captured on vacation, I'd be dead immediately. Meanwhile, Jason Brody goes from dude bro tourist to full-blown action hero way too fast. Far Cry 3 has everything. Explosions, crazy wildlife, and a villain who delivers some of the best monologues I've ever heard. Seriously, Voss is so unhinged that I started questioning my own sanity. You spend half your time liberating outposts and the other half getting attacked by random animals. Like, imagine stealthily sneaking into an enemy camp, perfectly planning your attack, only to be tackled by a damn Komodo dragon. Never have I felt more personally targeted by nature. This game gives you the real Spider-Man experience, swinging through the city, fighting bad guys, and constantly making terrible life choices. The whole plot is basically, what if Spider-Man completely lost control of the symbiote suit? Spoiler, it does not go well. One minute you're the friendly neighborhood hero, the next you're throwing Wolverine through a wall and telling him to deal with it. The combat is wild. You can swap between classic Spidey and symbiote Spidey at any time, which means double the chaos. And the swinging? Absolutely amazing. If you've ever wanted to know what it's like to be Spider-Man but without the responsibility, this game delivers. Also, there's a moral system where you choose between being a good hero or a complete menace. Guess which one I picked? Let's just say Venom would be proud. This game made me physically lean in my chair while playing. Like, why am I tilting my head trying to balance faith when I am not actually on a rooftop? Mirror's Edge is all about parkour, and it makes everything feel ridiculously smooth. Running on walls? Easy. Jumping across rooftops? No problem. Accidentally mistiming a jump and falling to my death because I got too confident? Happened at least 30 times. The game's first-person perspective makes everything feel way more intense than it should. Even basic jumps feel like I'm one mistake away from splatting on the pavement. Also, fun fact, you can fight enemies, but most of the time it's way easier to just run. And let me tell you, there is nothing more humiliating than trying to be a badass, throwing a punch, missing completely, and then desperately sprinting away. I don't know who at Valve decided, hey, let's make a game where people solve puzzles by shooting holes in reality, but I love them for it. Portal 2 is hilarious, challenging, and just a little bit existentially terrifying. You play as Chell, a test subject in aperture science where an evil AI named GLaDOS is basically running a very illegal science fair at your expense. The puzzles are brilliant. One moment you feel like the smartest person alive after solving something, and the next you're stuck staring at a wall, questioning every life decision that led you here. And then there's Wheatley, the best dumb robot in video game history. His entire job is to be an idiot, and he excels at it. He goes from awkward British helper to accidentally becoming the main villain, and I respect that level of unintentional chaos. This game proved that portals would be way too dangerous in real life. I would absolutely use them to avoid getting up for snacks, and I would 100% get stuck in an infinite loop because of it. Prototype is what happens when you give one dude all the superpowers and a serious grudge. You play as Alex Mercer, who wakes up with zero memories but a lot of abilities, including turning his arms into massive blades, running up skyscrapers like it's nothing, and, my personal favorite, suplexing helicopters out of the air. The game basically asks, what if Spider-Man, but angry? And the answer is pure destruction. You can absorb people to steal their memories, toss tanks like toys, and cause so much chaos that by the end, the military just starts dropping entire airstrikes on you because they've completely given up. Also, let's talk about how ridiculously overpowered Alex is. He gets stabbed, shot, exploded, and somehow just walks it off like it's a mild inconvenience. Meanwhile, I stub my toe and need a full day of recovery. Ah, yes, the cowboy game. Red Dead Redemption is where you go when you want to feel like a true outlaw, but also spend way too much time riding your horse into random objects. You play as John Marston, an ex-outlaw who's just trying to live a peaceful life, but the government basically tells him, nah, go hunt down your old gang or else. And because John doesn't exactly have a LinkedIn profile to apply for a normal job, he goes along with it. The open world is stunning. Mountains, deserts, saloons where you can start bar fights for no reason. But let's be honest, the real experience is accidentally pressing the wrong button and punching your own horse. Nothing makes you question your own morality like seeing your horse look at you in betrayal before running away forever. Also, Deadeye mode, a literal cheat code for feeling like a legend. I could barely aim at anything, but with Deadeye I was suddenly a cowboy John Wick. Alan Wake is the only game where I've been genuinely terrified of flashlights running out of batteries. Like, I used to think the worst part of dead batteries was my TV remote not working. Nope. Turns out, it's getting absolutely mauled by shadow monsters in the middle of nowhere. You play as Alan, a writer who somehow ends up trapped in a horror story that he probably should have proofread before getting sucked into it. The guy just wants to find his wife, but instead he spends most of his time running from possessed townfolk and blasting them with light like he's part of a very aggressive neighborhood watch. The game is basically, what if Stephen King wrote a video game? And honestly, if I ever end up in a creepy town with weird supernatural stuff happening, remind me to just leave immediately. This game is what happens when someone says, let's make a GTA-style game, but everyone knows Kung Fu. And it rules. You play as Wei Shun, an undercover cop who infiltrates the triads, and naturally, the best way to do police work is by suplexing people through restaurant tables. Seriously, the combat in this game is ridiculous. You can counter every move, grab people, and just absolutely destroy them using whatever is nearby. Oh, a fish tank, slam someone into it, a phone booth, throw them in and hang up on them IRL. Also, the driving, pure chaos. I have never obeyed traffic laws in an open world game, but Sleeping Dogs makes it so fun to drive like a maniac that I don't even feel bad. There's a button that literally makes your car leap sideways to smash into other vehicles. Why? Because Hong Kong drift, baby. If you ever wanted to feel like an action movie protagonist, but with even worse decision-making skills, this game is for you. This game is beautiful, relaxing, and also the reason I have trust issues. You play as the prince, who is, for some reason, not actually a prince, and your main goal is to clean up a magical corruption spreading across the land. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. The platforming is buttery smooth. Running on walls, swinging on poles, and jumping between ledges feels so good that I forgot I was supposed to be saving the world. I spent way too long just flipping around like a wannabe gymnast. And then there's Elika, your magical sidekick. She catches you every time you fall, which sounds great, until you realize it means no fall damage. But instead of making me grateful, it just made me stupidly reckless. Oh, a huge bottomless pit. Guess I'll just yeet myself off and let Elika handle it. Also, the ending, no spoilers, but let's just say the game pulls a fast one on you, and I am still mad about it. This game is basically Lara Croft's worst day ever. She crashes on an island, gets impaled, nearly drowns, gets hunted by cultists, and somehow still manages to become the world's most competent survivalist. Meanwhile, I trip on a sidewalk and need a minute to recover. The combat is incredibly satisfying. The bow is an absolute game changer. I started off stealthy, taking out enemies from the shadows, but by the end I was Rambo, setting everything on fire and screaming at the screen. And let's talk about the brutal death animations. Some of them are so horrifyingly detailed that I started actively trying not to die, which is rare for me. Usually I just YOLO my way through games, but here? No thanks, I like my spine intact. Overall, it's Lara's glow-up story. She starts off scared and ends up a certified badass. Meanwhile, I still can't figure out how to start a fire in real life.
Now you die.
So there you have it, 15 single-player games that are so good they'll still be worth playing in 2025, whether you want to be a cowboy, ninja, parkour expert, or just a guy who really needs to talk to a therapist about his anger issues, looking at you, Kratos, and Alex Mercer. There's something here for everyone. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go replay all of these and remind myself that yes, I still suck at parkour and Mirror's Edge. Which of these is your favorite? Did I miss any legendary games? Let me know in the comments before I get distracted by another playthrough of Red Dead Redemption. See you in the next one.